Yo, what's good, Spirit Squad? Today we're going to be playing in an Explorer tournament for the first time since the Explorer Anthology has hit Magic Arena. That means that this is going to be the first real event since Nykthos has been printed, and, well, a few other cards too, but really Nykthos is going to be the big important one because that means that Mono Green Devotion, the deck that we just highlighted last week, is going to be on full display here, with only Oath of Nissa missing from that entire deck. So I expect to see a lot of mono green today. And to that effect, we're of course going to be playing with mono blue spirits, and we're going to be playing with close to the same list that I was playing in Pioneer for the RCQ that we went over last time. The biggest difference here being that I'm not playing Ascendant Spirit, I'm playing 2 copies of Lantern Bearer so that we always have the flyer available instead of having to put mana into Ascendant Spirit to make it a flyer. And the second change is that we're not going to be playing Leyline of the Void in the sideboard for here. The main reason for that is because without Temporal Trespass and Treasure Cruise, there really isn't a such thing as Izzet Phoenix on Explorer like there is in Pioneer. So we have a much less of a need for Graveyard Hate. Here I'm playing 2 copies of Slip Out the Back in the sideboard to make for a full 4 against decks like Rakdos that are just trying to kill everything we have. Things like Rakdos, things like Karuga Fires with Leyline Binding, things like that. There's going to be a lot of decks that are still trying to play a bunch of removal. So rather than planning for a Phoenix deck that doesn't exist here, I'm just going to try to hedge a little bit against extra removal spells. And then we've got a 4th copy of Mystical Dispute where I was playing 3. So that's going to be the cards that were swapped out for the 3 copies of Leyline of the Void we were playing previously. But that's going to be really the only changes. Everything else is staying the same, including the Nebelgast Herald, 2 in the main, 1 in the board. We're still playing the 1-of copy of Teferi Temporal Pilgrim in the board. He's here. And yeah, let's get right into the tournament. I'll see y'all in round 1. Fingers crossed. Alright, round 1 of tournament is up, and this is open deck list, so I know I'm playing against mono green, so I will keep this hand. It's a little bit mid, but I'll be pretty glad if I can manage to come up with some kind of Curious Obsession type draw or something by the time they start getting to 4 mana. So like my 1 Lofty Denial should be like okay-ish. That's actually fine by me. So let's just go ahead and get an attack in here. And I've got my 2 Spectral Sailors here. So the Elves I'm not going to concern myself with. I will block one of these though. Let's go ahead and play the other now. And a Mausoleum Wanderer is a pretty good draw actually, because now I can play a threat, keep up my Lofty Denial, and then next turn play Supreme Phantom and still have access to the Lofty Denial. And Mausoleum Wanderer too, since we got rid of that earlier elf, might help to counterspell a copy of Storm the Festival, so can't really complain too much about what's happening here. Not going to do anything about Kiora or an Elvish Mystic, you got it. Do I block this one? I don't have another spirit to put in play. I'll go to 9. A Rattle Chains is pretty good too. So here I'm just going to play my Supreme Phantom, make them take some damages, and by some damages I actually just mean 5 this turn, because I'm only going to attack with these 2. I'm going to leave Lantern Bearer back to block, because we don't want to just like randomly die to this clock because it exists, so we'll just really make all of this their problem. I will go to 4 though. That's yeah, I'll go to 4. Oh, we're just gonna, okay, I guess this one. So what are we looking at? 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's not 12. Okay. Which means I guess I'm just going to attack for 5 here, go to 7, and now we're holding up Spectral, Lofty, and Mausoleum, so I can't really imagine there's a series of draws that gets them out of this now. So I will block here, and it doesn't really look like they have an option for getting out of this, so pray to us. Oh, sure. So here I do have the Lofty Denial. Sorry, opponent. And I guess I'll play that too. Send the message. So there's game 1 against mono green. Here I want Nebelgast Heralds, Aether Gusts, and Negates. Cards that I don't really want are going to be Slip Out the Backs and Rattle Chains. So specifically Rattle Chains comes out here because it's not like they're playing any spot removal. Sometimes they might have like a Voracious Hydra, but that's really it. And the only card that we usually play at sorcery speed are going to be the Shacklegeists and the Supreme Phantoms anyway, so giving those cards in this matchup access to flash is a little relevant, but not actually a big deal. Yeah, alright. So this is very low on the list of hands that are even considered to be keepable, I guess, but like, I like these, and if I draw again another CO or something else just to complement this, then I'm feeling pretty decent about it. If this is a Voracious Hydra for 1 kill my Wanderer, then I'm sad. Okay, looks like it's not. And a Spell Pierce, I don't hate it actually. So I do want exactly one more threat to go with these though. Oof, I very much hate that. Okay, so this isn't that bad. So one of these two can go ahead and counter a Storm the Festival, but I've also got Spell Pierce and Geistlight Snare too, so let's see what happens here. And I'm also kind of running out of opportunities to maybe use the Spell Pierce too, so I am of course glad to get Double Cavalier the hell out of my face though. Another Geistlight Snare is actually pretty good. So now I really just want like one more threat. We have 7 mana is what they're currently working with. Ooh. I'm still going to do it because I'm really just not going to get a use for Dispel Pierce otherwise. And I would much rather use 2 cards on Karn than deal with Karn. Hey, hello friend. So let's draw a card. And it's an Aether Gust. That's pretty damn good. So what I'm hoping is that this can basically get rid of every spell in their deck that's not named Karn. And with a Karn and 2 Cavaliers having shown, I feel like, oh, that's completely fine by me actually. I'll just take the 6 and go to 13. A 3rd Wanderer, okay. So I'm going to do that to pump these guys, take them down to 7 this turn. And that means that with any Spirit off the top, this is a lethal attack. That's not bad either. So if you just want to pump this like 100, I'm actually pretty okay with that. Yeah, this doesn't say anything about non-land. So if they're going to just do this as their entire turn, I'm going to wait for it to tap so that they can't protect it somehow. And I'll just do this. And there's a Spirit. So now we have 7 damage. GG's to our opponent. Let's move on to the next round. All right, we're on round 2. We're on the draw against humans, which is not exactly where I want to be against this deck, but it is what it is. I've got 2 copies of Supreme Phantom and a Nebelgast Herald. So if any draw is going to get me out of this, this is going to be the one. And also a Rattle Chains against like a Brutal Cathar seems pretty sweet. So I am going to get chunked for 2 here, most likely. Nope, just 1. Okay, so we're going to line up a better attack next turn is what's happening here. That's fine by me, I guess. I can't do anything about it. I think I should just attack here. And I'm going to hold up Rattle Chains in case my opponent decides to Brutal Cathar post-combat. Or, oh, Thalia. Okay. That's actually okay. And a Dauntless Bodyguard, probably to protect the Luminarch Aspirant. Okay. So they're getting pretty well under me, being that I'm the one who's stuck on the draw here. So I'm being attacked for 5. And I'm not really going to do much about that. It is what it is. So let's go ahead, take our 5, go down to 14, untap, hope to hit an island. We do. That's nice. So here, I think I want to just hold up my Nebelgast Herald so that next time I can untap and have access to Supreme Phantom / Spectral Sailor for multiple taps on the following turn, and then another Supreme Phantom to cross the finish line. That is definitely an option that might get us there. The only thing that I'm really scared of currently is a Brutal Cathar. How bad is that for us? I can slip out the back, plus Spectral Sailor, keep my friend, or I can Nebelgast Herald, let them put me up to 17, and kind of keep going from there. It also does put a little bit of a damper on my plan to have everything with maximum power toughness here. So what I think I'm going to do is let that happen. Yeah, I think I'm going to let it happen. And then just Nebelgast Herald up. Counter goes on Thalia. I won't go so far as to say whatever, because that would be false, but it is a thing that's going to happen. So now they can attack me for 3, 6, 10. I would go to 7. And a Curious Obsession is pretty late, not going to lie. So now what's the best I can get out of this? I suppose a Phantom, whatever. And I can attack with just Nebelgast Herald here. This is not the prettiest. Oh, they had the Brutal Cathar. Boo. All right, so they target my Supreme Phantom. Okay. Yeah, I think missing this 4th land is going to end up bodying me here. But realistically, this was never pretty. So what do I do here? I can block Dauntless Bodyguard, take 6, go to 1, untap, try to draw something at instant speed to go with the Nebelgast Herald. That's still bad. Still bad. Yeah, I think we're done here. All right, so that's upsetting. Being on the draw against this deck is pretty painful, as we can see. And that's really going to be it here. So I don't really want all 4 copies to slip out the back, but I want Spell Pierce even less. So I'm just down to put in the Nebelgast Herald and the card that can make multiple tokens rather than Spell Pierces that I'm probably never going to use. All right, so now we get to be on to play, and this hand's acceptable. It's not great, but it's acceptable. Like, it's got something I want to do on turns 1 and 2, which is always a nice start, right? Hopeful Initiate, you got it. And there's a Nebelgast Herald. Okay, cool. So I don't really need to get in this attack here. I can just tap down our friend here in case of Luminarch Aspirant, and there it is. And then this is going to target itself anyway for the exact same setup that we talked about last time. So here I'm just going to get an attack in, and I can hold up the combination of either Nebelgast Herald or Lofty Denial in case of exactly Brutal Cathar. And that's not a Cathar, so I'm going to let that happen. And then what I can do is let them declare targets for their aspirants and then Nebelgast Herald the Luminarch Aspirant. That'll stop the Hopeful Initiate from getting an extra training counter. Boop. So I will take the 2 here, but at least here that's all I'm taking, right? Like a Portable Hole here kind of sucks, or the other one, yeah, that. I was gonna say, or whatever the other spell was called. Lay down arms is the name. What do I want to do here? So I think I want a Lantern Bearer, attack for 2, and then have Geistlight Snare and try to draw a land for next turn. Don't really want to deal with you, if you don't mind. And that happened. Okay, so they're making this one a 3/3, basically, no matter what is what we're getting at here. So since this is going to be a 3/3, I'm actually going to tap this down. Yeah, because it's going to get to the training counter bit anyway. Not a land. Okay, so let's Supreme Phantom, Mausoleum. And I could have played Mausoleum, hold up Geistlight Snare, but I think Put It in Fear of Gotham is probably the only way I'm getting out of this currently. There's a Brutal Cathar for my Supreme Phantom. You got it. So that was a good reason to have wanted to play just Mausoleum Wanderer, hold up Geistlight Snare, untap, and then Supreme Phantom. This is gonna suck because this is gonna turn into a 3/3. Dang. I think I might be SOL, y'all. I no longer think I have outs to play this game. Shoot. That sucks. Another Luminarch Aspirant. So now I know I can't really do anything. But if this last card's a Thalia's Lieutenant, then I'm already dead. But let's be real, I was kind of dead to just about anything anyway. So what can I do here? I can block, I guess block and then flip out the back. And then what can I even draw? I can't draw anything. All right, yeah, we're dead. Unfortunate. Let's move on to the next round. All right, round 3, we're on the draw. This hand is an absolute stinker, and I guess I'll keep this one. Not super happy about it, if I'm being honest. And it looks like we're probably fighting a mirror. So my main objective here, then, if we're fighting a mirror, is going to be to get this Shacklegeist on the table. If they just like Spectral Sailor, untap, CO, then that's pretty obnoxious. But with the hand we drew, I don't know that we can do anything about that. So yeah. Okay, and it looks like they're going to play the patient game, which means I'm not just going to walk myself into a copy of, say, that's okay. I was going to say like a Lofty Denial or Geistlight Snare or something for the Shacklegeist because I need this guy to resolve. Ascended Spirit is whatever. Bell Pierce? Not quite. I think I actually walk this into a counter spell just because I really want this to be the one to resolve. So there's a Geistlight Snare. Like I said, can't do much about that. So let's get our little attack in here and see what happens, really. And we're pumping. That's fine. I take 4 and go to 14. Nope. All right. Here we're gonna chill once more. This time with the intent to, I guess, use my Faceless Haven and block this. If they pump it to a 4/4, I'm okay with the trade since it uses all of their mana too. Okay, and that is gonna be how I get my Shacklegeist to resolve. So now I can do this. Take 5, go to 9. Oh, maybe not. Still gotta try it. Hopefully it's not a Lofty Denial. If it's exactly a Lofty, then I guess I cry about it. Okay. So now my real problem is just this guy. No, that's another problem. Okay. Slip out the back, my friend. Yeah, that's gonna happen. So now if they pump mana into this, I can slip out the back that as well. Looks like that is what's gonna happen. So I can take this one, and I really just want to draw another spirit to tap down the Ascended Spirit. That is helpful. Okay. I have 6 lands available, which means during their upkeep, I'm going to, yeah. So in their upkeep, let's do this since I can pay for a Geistlight Snare. Like I said, if they have a Lofty Denial, I can just like not beat that anyway. So let's tap you, and they can dig for a Rattle Chains with their 6 mana by drawing and looking for it, but it looks like that's not what they're going to do. They're just going to go ahead and pass. Cool. Supreme Phantom from them. Okay. Certainly not bad. And yeah, sure. So here I can just go ahead and tap this down, take 2, go to 6, untap, CO on Nebelgast Herald, and be ready to block with Shacklegeist, since that can at least block this profitably. It's not the worst. Lofty is kind of terrible. Draw my card. It's another Nebelgast Herald. That might almost be best case scenario. So now the Nebelgast Herald can tap down the Ascended Spirit into Spectral Sailor, Shacklegeist can tap down a Faceless Haven, and I still have my Lofty Denial up. So this doesn't play around a Geistlight Snare or a... Oh, looks like I don't need to worry about it. Sick. But it does mean they can't like activate plus play something. Like there's lots of things that we can do now. Okay, so they are going to activate that, and I'm going to get to tap it down. If they want to attack me for 1, they're certainly free to do that. But now I get to counter that. Oh, they attacked. Okay. What can I do here? 3, 6, 10, 12 is my maximum attack. So I guess it's probably right for me to literally just attack with the Nebelgast, and that's it. Especially if I can draw like another flash threat. Not quite, not bad. Okay, so we're going to do this in their upkeep again. And okay, yes, this is good because this leaves me the mana to activate my Faceless Haven as well. Okay, so I'm going to tap you and tap you, and I guess give you hexproof. I mean, I'm holding the slip out the back, so whichever one I tap doesn't actually matter that much, I think. But I think now they're going to look for a rattle chains. Is that what we're doing? Yeah, fine by me too, because if they do try to rattle chains and save their Ascendant Spirit from being tapped here, I can just proactively cast my slip out the back, but it looks like I'm not going to worry about it. Sick. So now I get to tap down to Supreme Phantom, and we are currently looking at a lethal attack. So they can put up a blocker. They can also just like slip out the back one of my friends proactively. And it looks like that is what they're going to try to do. So I'm just going to let that rock. 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 is not 13. So I guess I will just attack with this. They go to 9. And I'm going to leave myself with as many blockers as I have access to. And I can cast my Shacklegeist in their upkeep now. Geistlight Snare to counter. Okay. Yeah, I can't do anything about that. You got it. Okay, so now that we're in combat, I'm going to tap down the Ascendant Spirit. And if they want to use their mana to activate Faceless Haven, I can slip out the back of that. Okay. Looks like we're going to do nothing. Is that what's happening here? Mausoleum Wanderer. Okay, that's not nothing. I think I'm going to just untap here. An island is not great. So what do I want to do here? I can attack with Nebelgast Herald and Shacklegeist. And if they try to get cute with a double block, I can slip out the back one of the offending creatures. I can make you a 5/4. I think I attack with just these two. And if they try to get cute with a double block on either, I have to slip out the back. Let's try that. Okay, I guess I will order it like this because I really want the Spectral Sailor to be the one off the table. And here I actually have a couple of options. I can slip out the back the Supreme Phantom and take both of these, but I think that's a little greedy. So what I want to do is just slip out the back on the Wanderer, knowing that it'll come back as an X3, a Geistlight Snare. Sure, I'll pay 3. So how can I... Yeah, so now I can block Ascendant Spirit, block Faceless Haven, tap one of these, untap, get a good attack in with this. If they try to... No! Oh, that's so bad. Oh, no. Oh, that is awful for me. All right. Well, it's going to resolve. Oh, Field of Ruins. Terrible for us. All right. So how many are we attacking with really is the keyword here. I'm definitely not using my tap ability here. Attack with one more. Attack with one more. Aw, fine. So let's block 1, block 2, and then before damage actually starts to happen, I will tap you like this, and then now I can draw hopefully any spirit to tap down this for lethal. Literally any spirit. Come on, deck. That'll do. All right, tap down Supreme Phantom. And opponent says GG. I will agree with that. That was, in fact, a very good game. So here we've got Mystical Disputes. I want Nebelgast Herald. Things that I don't really care about are here. And I guess the Lantern Bearer. Like, I do want basically all the rest of these things. I guess I also want these more than Lofties so that we can fight back and forth over the Mystical Dispute. A little upset that they actually got to see the Nebelgast Herald in Game 1, since they know to prepare for it in Game 2 and 3. But it let us take the Game 1, so I'll shut up and take it. Holy crap, this list is ambitious. Listen to this, y'all. 15 Snow-Covered Island, 3 Faceless Havens, 2 Field of Ruins. Those are in the main. The sideboard has 2 more Field of Ruins and another Faceless Haven and a Snow-Covered Island. So there's 4 more lands in their board. Yeah. All right. That's a lot of land. So they can board up to what, 25? 1, 2, 3, 4. No, 24. So if they attack, I'll just take it. I'm not walking into rattle chains. Yeah, opponent, you got that. So I'm really hoping they don't just jam Shacklegeist here. They didn't, thankfully. And here I will just chill. So this way, if they want to play like a CO or something, I can Geistlight Snare it and then try to block and make an even board. A Spectral Sailor, you got it. And then from here, maybe I can untap and like start Nebelgast Heralding or something, or Mausoleum plus hold up Geistlight Snare. So hopefully I'm hoping to have some options here is basically what I'm getting at. So here I'm going to block here. Again, don't want to walk into a rattle chains block on this end. If they're smart, they'll use this as an opportunity to resolve something in main phase 2. And it looks like that might be what happened playing around my Geistlight Snare. It would, oh, sick. Or I'm just going to get to play Magic and they missed a land drop. I guess that works too. Sorry, opponent, but we definitely take those. But unfortunately, I think this is going to be one of those things that comes about because of exactly what I just mentioned. I still don't want to walk into a Shacklegeist. I'll give it another turn. Like a 20 land deck, like look at what's happening because my opponent's playing only 20 lands. Unfortunate because I don't really like seeing the homies, even when they're my opponent, kind of flailing their arms, but that's gonna be a thing that happens. Although I do like the idea of Field of Ruin in the board. Like, I don't think that sucks at all. So I'm gonna chill here, and oh my god, well, that's a lot better than I was hoping for. See, I was already happy to just have Geistlight Snare, Geistlight Snare and Nebelgas Herald at the same time. But here, I'm just going to get to do everything I want. Flip out the back, my friend. I think that's a good play. And I do have another Geistlight Snare, so if I draw like a Mystical Dispute, this is pretty much locked up. But another Nebelgas Herald will also do it next turn. Yeah. No reason to let that resolve. Is this game still going? Color me surprised, opponent's still playing. So we'll do this. I'm not scared of any copies of Mystical Dispute because I've got 3 more lands over here. So unfortunately, our opponent's just not gonna have a particularly great time. If they rattle chains, Lofty Denial. Sure, have another. So now they get to do a bunch of stuff. Let's see if they actually do hit a land drop finally. The answer is no, so I'm just gonna keep pressing on the beats here. And unfortunate times for our poor opponent here. Jackalgeist, noted. So here I'm just gonna go ahead and play my other Nebelgas Herald. If this is a Mystical Dispute, then that's fine because I'm just going to get to untap and resolve my Supreme Phantom anyway. Yeah, that's... Oh, Jesus, even worse. Okay, so now I get to do this. Tap one of these down. They respawn by tapping my other friend down. I can activate Faceless Haven, and that's going to be lethal. Opponent said good game. We'll say it back. And that's going to be round 3. I will see y'all for the next one. All right, welcome to round 4. We get to be on the play, which is exciting. And I've got not a terrible little curve. Cool. I'm in here for this. And thanks to Open Deck List, we do know that this opponent is on mono green. So if I end up drawing into a copy of Curious Obsession, it's pretty safe, and look at that. And it's just like the universe just knows everything at all times. So here, I'm actually just going to play the Mausoleum Wanderer because there's nothing on turn 3, including a copy of Old Growth Troll that I'm actually scared of. So maybe I should have checked first to see if they have Voracious Hydra. They don't. Okay, cool. So yeah, like if they play an Old Growth Troll or a Kiora, I don't really care. Yeah, that's fine. So now I get to just go ahead and attack for 2 here, draw a card, play this, and post-combat I'll just play a Shacklegeist, and then in their upkeep I can tap down the Lana Werewolf. So now let's do this, tap tap, and now we're working with 3 mana instead of 4, which means they don't get to cast Karn. If they want to do something like casting another Old Growth Troll, I don't particularly care. And if it's a Kiora, care even less. But now that this turn has been effectively stifled, I can untap and then play the second CO so that I'm drawing 1,000,000 cards every turn. Yeah, you can have that. I don't think I need to do all that, but it is funny. Fuck it, let's flex on them. All right, so I'm gonna just attack here. Yeah, so if I just attack here, they take 4, go to 12, and then my Shacklegeist tapping this down will once again stop them from being able to cast the key spell being Cavalier of Thorns, because they're only going to have 4 mana. So we're going to tap down their mana elf. They can play a land, get up to 4 mana. They could play a Nykthos to get to 5 mana, but it looks like that's not what they have. So yeah, that's the Heart's Desire. That one I don't actually care about, I think. And then the Lovestruck Beast itself, I will counter. So now I do not have a Rattle Chains. But if I play out both Lords and use Shacklegeist to tap this, how much am I doing? 5, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, all right, sick. 14, 15. And we now have one very dead opponent. So once again, we're just going to take out the things that we don't really care about here, being the Slip Out the Backs and the Rattle Chains. And we're going to put in basically every blue card designed to give a middle finger to what they're doing. Except here we're going to be on the draw this time. Well, at least my opponent took a mulligan as well. So this hand is infinitely better. Yeah, this hand makes me happy. So now I'll keep a Spell Pierce in case of Wolf Willowhaven, I guess. But if they're going to do nothing, I'm certainly okay with that. Now, I could Theo. Yeah, that's fine. I don't think there's really too much of anything I'm walking into or worried about. If they Old Growth Troll here, whatever. And if they go to Kiora, then I don't mind using my Spell Pierce on that. That's fine. You can have a Spell Pierce. So now I get to untap, play another CO, and then just kind of go buck wild from there with my Aether Gust in hand. Oh yeah, you love to see it. So now they have 4 mana. There's another Kiora. I will be doing nothing about that. And if they want to use the Kiora to... Oh, never mind. I was going to say if they wanted to use the Kiora to say... The rest of that thought was that they could have used Kiora to play like a Wolf Willowhaven or something, but I guess I don't even have to worry about that. So here's that, and let's just play one of these. So I still have my friend Aether Gust here to protect against most of their spells. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is likely a Storm to Festival. It is. All right, so let's go ahead and stuff that. And are we still playing? Yes, we are. Okay, so let's do that. Attack for 6, take you down to 5, draw a bunch of cards, and then I'm just gonna make sure they know this Storm to Festival is literally never happening. Yeah, all right. Well, let's move on to the next round. Another easy dubs over mono green. Hey, thanks for being here. If you're having a good time with today's content, make sure to click like on the video and let me know. Also, subscribe to the channel if you're new. If you want to further show your support, check out the Patreon, which will be in the video description and in today's pinned comment. In the Patreon, you'll get all kinds of extra benefits, including access to articles, sideboard guides, personalized coaching, and the ability to submit your deck to be played on this channel. Thanks for being here. Let's move on to the next round. All right, welcome to round 5. We get to be on the play against mono white, which is pretty huge. I've got a Spell Pierce, which only has Brave the Elements as targets. This one, unlike our last mono white opponent, is not trying to play any copies of Lay Down the Arm. So here I'm just going to be looking out for Brutal Cathar as the only real target for Rattle Chains. So I guess with this turn, I'll just lay out a Supreme Phantom, knowing that I don't have to dodge Portable Hole. And then we'll just kind of go from there, see whatever 2-drop they want to jam down my throat. Good choice. Okay, so it's a Luminarch Aspirant, so they're going to make this a 3-2 and swing. I take that, and let's see what I can come up with after. Maybe a CO? Another Spell Pierce. Didn't want the first one. Let's go ahead and get a nice little swing in. Don't really see myself blocking, so I may as well attack. And now what? Because both of these, I don't want either of them. I really just want like a Nebelgast Herald here would have been pretty sweet. Rattle Chains is good if they play Brutal Cathar this turn. I would definitely love to see that. Okay, so here I actually will flash in a Rattle Chains and block the Luminarch, because now if they have Brave the Elements, I can give myself an opportunity to use my Spell Pierce, whereas otherwise it's not going to do anything. So hopefully they just don't have 2 of them. If they have 2 of them, then you know, you got me. All right, cool. So now let's draw land. No, but a CO is very good. So let's draw a counterspell maybe? No, but that's fine too. So I'm just going to hold on to the Rattle Chains, play around the option of Brutal Cathar to come down this turn. Recruitment Officer, okay? I'm just going to be a little aggressive here. Spectral Sailor's pretty good. I'm going to just attack here and not play one of these pre-combat because I could draw a Lofty Denial like that. And let's go ahead and end the turn now. So I can play Spectral plus Lofty and still be pretty okay with things here. I will put you in and block the Dauntless Bodyguard since I'm at 11. I think currently the only real way to mess this up is by finding a way to lose a race that I'm currently winning. So I'm just going to not walk into things. All right. 12-7, so same scenario. So I also don't need to play this pre-combat here. A Slip Out the Back. That's really good. So now I can take this if they want to attack. I don't really care about that. Slip Out the Back beats a Brutal Cathar, and I can flash this in. Extraction Specialist gets back Luminarch Aspirant. I don't really care about that. So if they just want to go ahead and attack for 3, that's kind of whatever. It's not like it gains them life or anything like that. So here I'm just going to flash you in, present more than 7, untap, and kill you is the plan here. Whew. So up a game on mono white. That is a very, very good place to be, because that deck is really scary when you have to beat it on the draw multiple times. I'm also pretty glad that we actually got an opportunity to make use of our Spell Pierce, because otherwise I was really worried about those dead cards coming up. Our hand for game 2, yeah, this is fine. So our opponent did take a mulligan. What do they have in the sideboard? They have Lay Down Arms and Raydan and 1 Portable Hole. I guess those things are all okay. Nothing I really care too much about here, so let's just play you. And if they attack without like Luminarch Aspirant or Thalia's Lieutenant first, I'll definitely block this. But never mind, because there goes the Thalia's Lieutenant. Here I want to chill. So I can counter something, eek, like that. And I guess I take the 3 here. Cry about that. And a Shacklegeist is unfortunately not particularly helpful right now. But they did miss a land drop again. So I think what I want to do is play Shacklegeist and chill off that. And then I can use Shacklegeist, tap this down. If this attacks, I guess that's fine. And a Recruitment Officer making that 3 power. Okay, I guess I'll do this. instead. So take 3, go down to 11. Faceless Haven is not a bad draw. Mausoleum Wanderer kinda is. So let's go ahead and attack with Shacklegeist for 3, and then I can use it to tap down 6 of this. And unless they draw a land for a Brutal Cathar here to get rid of my Supreme Phantom, I think I'm not in the worst place. It's not great, but it's not the worst place, I think. Yeah, Thalia's Lieutenant does have the ability to be indestructible with this bodyguard too, so I should probably pay attention to that. Okay, so we're just going to go into combat. That means I'm just going to start tapping down some friends here, tap you down as well, and I can take 4, go to 7, and then untap and have access to, oh, that's good. I want to give you to the Lantern Bearer. That's definitely the card I care least about here. What am I looking at for damage? 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Plus 5 is only 16. So I guess we're just doing this. So let's draw a card. A Spectral Sailor is an actively good draw. Like a flash creature gives me just a little extra room to play with my Shacklegeist here. And doing that, that actually does not matter at all. Perfect. So I can Shacklegeist here, 1, 2. I can Shacklegeist here, 1, 2. And then they don't attack into a Faceless Haven because they're worried about that. I mean, if they want to attack into this Faceless Haven, I'll certainly let them. But there's no way they actually make this attack right. Oh crap, they do. All right. Aw, dang, they figured it out. So how much damage am I looking at just flying? 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So if I draw any spirit, I immediately have lethal. Let's do that. Maybe not. One more time. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Which means I guess I will do just this. We go down to 8, see if I can draw a Nebelgast Herald maybe? No, but that's still good. Okay, so if we're just going to pass here, I'm just going to start tapping things down. 1, 2. If they want to cast a Brave the Elements, I have a Geistlight Snare, or I can just not even play around with that because I have the Nebelgast Herald up top, and then I can just do this. All right, opponent said good game, so I'll say good game back, and we can block our friend Thalia, take 4, go to 3, they are dead, and we move on to 4-1. I'll see y'all in the next round. All right, we in round 6, we are against mono green, and our hand is fine. Like, I can go with the Shacklegeist lines to help turn off Landwehr Elves for like a turn or 2 here and there, and until then, I do want actual counter spells, but Shacklegeist against things like, I mean, this is actually okay. But I was going to say Shacklegeist against things like the Cavalier of Thorns and whatnot are going to feel pretty decent. So let's tap this down, see if they come at me with, I don't know, say a Cure or something. Because we at least want to turn off their ability to play Karn. And if they start attacking me with like this, then that's kind of whatever for a few turns. Hey, look at that. All right. So that worked out. Which means I am going to spend this turn also developing a Supreme Phantom because I'm just going to do the same thing. So we're going to attack for 3 and then in their upkeep, tap the elf again, and if we can get lucky and turn off a whole nother turn, that is exactly the kind of life I want to be living. I also want to draw 1 more land so that I can play a 1-drop and hold up Lofty. Not quite, but also not particularly complaining. So here I'm going to attack for 6, you go down to 11, do the same thing, keep, I'm sorry little Landwehr Elf, sucks to be you, but hey, you can always attack me for 4. Nice. All right. So I'm once again asking you to take out Rattlechain. So far, the plan is not broken. I do not plan on fixing it. And yeah, all right, I'm in for this. Got a 1-drop, a 2-drop, interaction, things I want to do, and a Shacklegeist just in case. Sick. This card's so good. Another troll, you got it. So I'm going to once again affect the Shacklegeist plan here. So if they play another 3-drop, like say a Lovestruck Beast or another Old Growth Troll here, then yeah, whatever. But I do want to be able to take them off of things like Karn a little early. So if they just want to like resolve a Kiora, that's almost whatever. Okay, but this is fine though, because now I'm just taking the Old Growth Troll, which is whatever. And I've navigated the really, really, really fucked up part, which is usually, excuse me, the part that's named, what am I thinking? Cavalier, duh. So now I can like Spectral Sailor, tap this down pre-combat, and then main phase 2, I have the option of Geistlight Snare or Aether Gust. And if they want to go ahead and start casting like Storm to Festivals, then Mausoleum Wanderer is here too. So now if they want to attack me for 1 or 2, that's whatever. I don't really care about that at all. Sky Sovereign, I don't mind countering that. Hello opponent, please get that out of my face. And a CO is really good. That can go here. I'm not winning the race yet, so I don't want to just start clicking attack all. That's very good though. So now what I want is just like another land actually. I don't really want anything else more than just like another land here. So once again, if they attack for 2, that's really whatever. Cavalier of Thorns. I'd actually want you to draw that again so that you're not just like getting new stuff. So here, let's attack with Spectral Sailor. Draw into a land, please. No. Okay. And this time I'll just counter the Cavalier, since really what's happening here is I'm getting to advance my board state and do things and draw extra cards, but my opponent's just kind of like repeating the same draw step to almost no avail. So I'll take this, I go down to 10, and I get to counter the Lofty. So here, let's draw a land so I can play the Supreme Phantom. Thank you. So what am I attacking for? 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Dang it. So let's draw a card then. It's another island, which will be okay next time if I draw something for 1. But here I've got a Lofty Denial and a Mausoleum Wanderer to counter Storm to Festival. Another Cavalier is definitely not happening. And that's going to be the ball game. Woo! Another easy peasy 2-0. I will see y'all in the next round. Okay, round 7's here. We are on the draw against blue-white control, and yikes, that's going back. This is actually a little better. So let's keep our 3 flash creatures and basically work on just playing an instant speed game. I would still have rather seen a bunch of like low drops in a CO, obviously, but if that's not what we're gonna have, I suppose I'll be pretty happy about making that land drop though. That part's nice. And they don't cycle a sensor or anything, so what's in their deck? They only have 1 sensor to play in the first place. Okay. So here, I guess, actually knowing that, I should have played this in my upkeep. They have Make Disappears instead. Sure. So I'm still just going to walk this into a counterspell. If it's Make Disappear, Absorb, whatever, I'd rather start getting the counterspells out of their hand now. Especially since until I start hitting land drops, I'm not actually like doing anything, which kind of stinks. Okay. No march or anything. So now I suppose the thing I'm looking out for is just like a Shark Typhoon. They do have 3 of those in the main, and there's 1 now. Okay. So I think I actually do kind of want to just like resolve this before they can block and get my friend resolved here. So if they have a Supreme Verdict, then I don't think I can do anything about that. But also keep it real, my hand is just like not great. Okay, so here I'm just going to make my land drop and not really do much of anything currently. I think I'm just going to let this rock for a bit. Give myself maybe a chance to draw like a Supreme Phantom or something that can just like overpower this little guy. A March. So things I can do. So if I rattle chains the March, that definitely walks me right into a fat Supreme Verdict. I think I'm going to take the risk there, and hopefully this can counter like a Teferi this turn. Are you a possible... No, you can only be a Saw It Coming. Okay, there is no Doomscar in this list. So here, I'm just gonna go ahead and attack for a bunch here. If they have another Shark Typhoon, I guess that's what I get for giving them 1 more turn to get to it. So that is definitely a Saw It Coming. Oh, was there a Behold in here? Oh, there was 1 Behold. My bad. I guess I lied about the definite. Anyway, go away. I would rather they did not get away with having draw 2s and stuff. Another Field of Ruin. So I'm just gonna untap here and let's just start attacking again. So I'm really just hoping to dodge one of the 2 remaining Shark Typhoons here. That's pretty much the goal, and just to see if I can get away with crossing the finish line like that. So they can start using the Castle Vantress. I'm pretty okay with that, and as long as they're not coming at me with things like Wandering Emperors or Fairies and they resolve, I think we're okay as long as we can dodge the other Shark Typhoons. Those are going to be the most annoying things, even though I have this. So they go 1 top, 1 bottom. So let's see what that is on the top. Hopefully it's not just like, okay, good. I was gonna say, hopefully it's not just like another Supreme Verdict, or not another. Hopefully it's not a Supreme Verdict. If it's a shark for 4, and they have 3 Dovin's Vetoes in the main. That's gonna be a thing to look out for. 3 Dovin's Veto in the main is a lot. Oh, I guess not really. A lot of decks have Planeswalkers. Never mind, I take that back. Okay, so they did have the other shark. So we're going to do that. We're going to tap the shark down and then hope for no copies of Supreme Verdict here. Almost anything other than Supreme Verdict. And then I want to untap and draw Spirit so I can tap this. That would be, I guess, optimal. Okay, Hallowed Fountain tapped. Whoa, Supreme Verdict incoming. Understood. All right, that sucks. Not much I can do about that, unfortunately. Yeah. So we got a Shacklegeist, and if you want to make this appear, I will pay the 2. But we've seen 2 of the 3 Shark Typhoons, so at least that is a mostly solved problem. But we have a lot of work to do still. Like, yeah, they're at 6, but that's not quite low enough for one attack. That's a whole 3 turns, assuming I get no other help. That's a lot. Okay. And we got another island. Come on, deck. Okay. So you, I can at least counter with this. You have to pay 4. But if they have like, oh, they can't have Absorb because Field of Ruin. So they could have a Dovin's Veto. They do. I'm actually just going to pack this up and move to game 2. Like, I'm doing pretty bad with this island in hand. So against them, I want the card advantage things. I want the disputes and the negates, slip out the backs, lots and lots of things. We're going to take out some of the counter spells that cost a bunch of mana and some of the creatures that otherwise just like honestly don't really do much here. I don't hate the Heralds against Shark Typhoon, but like we can do better. Don't really want these. And I guess I'll take out one of these. Like if I'm putting in a bunch of Geistlight Snares and Mystical Disputes and Negates and stuff, I guess I can afford to take out some of the other higher cost counter spells like Geistlight Snares and Lofties. So let's see if being on the play and hopefully getting a hand of 1-drops instead of 2s and 3s ends up being a lot better. Because as we saw with that, if we just had like a bunch of earlier aggression, then we could have pretty easily just crossed the finish line there. Okay, so here we're going to get to be on the play. That's a lot more exciting, so let's do that. And let's draw a 1-drop, a CO, and a Geistlight. We in there. So what do I want to play around? Are there portable holes or lay of the whatever? Oh, no, actually. There's no portable hole and there's none of the, whatever the 1-drop lay down the arms. The one that deals, that exiles X or less, where X is the number of planes you control. Yeah, this hand's gas. Everything cost 1. Stop looking at my shit. Let's get an attack in. What are we looking at, opponent? A March. All right, so I am going to Geistlight Snare the March. I want to get my hit in. I want to draw land. I don't draw land. So I'm just going to let them untap here with my 2 slip out the backs and 2 of these. And I think that played relatively well. Ooh, nice. Around something like, say, Narset, for example. So what do I want to do here? I think I just want to attack again and leave it up to my 2 copies of Slip Out the Back to be rescued from my Ganjo. Annoying. Yeah, I'll use a slip on that. I guess I'll just play this now then. If I'm not going to be worried about Supreme Verdict this turn because of this being phased out anyway, I might as well be a little more productive about it. And I might need this as a backup counterspell for something next turn anyway. Oh, well, that's actually handy. So here, I'm just going to attack with the Spectral Sailor. I don't want to walk into a Shark Typhoon cycle here. A March where X is 1. Okay, so I guess against that, I will cast Negate. And then if they want a Dovin's Veto, I can Mausoleum Wander on the March, like that. So I can counter the March there, the Dovin's Veto can counter the Negate just fine, that's whatever. And I still have a card draw and a slip out the back to protect against Verdict. Words are difficult, y'all. Alright, opponent, do what you gotta do. Well, now if... Oh, never mind. I was gonna say, well, now if they have it, I guess I just get to cry. But here, I'm just gonna do this. So this plays around a Shark Typhoon cycle, and sick. Since they can only make a shark for 3 anyway. Okay, you got it. And unfortunately, that's gonna be it for the turn, so now what? So if they start jamming things like Teferi down my throat, I do have this for backup, so that's nice. Hopefully one of these is not another freaking veto. Come on. No breaks. All right, fine. Jeez. Yeah, what do you want me to do? Yeah, like why couldn't you have that or a Mystical Dispute? Not looking great for the home team, keep it real. They only have 1 card left in hand, but honestly, if that's just like a shark for 3, I am not sure how I get out of this. Oh, you're late. That'd have been cool earlier. So I do want another threat so that I can make use of my clock here, because honestly, this is a really slow clock. But if I can manage to pair this up with even like a Spectral Sailor, actually, that would be really good. Just something to outpace this, because this will kill me in 3 turns, but this won't kill them for another 6. 2 top. Ugh, gross. Hate to see that. Yeah, opponent scrying and keeping 2 on top is not on the list of things I wanted to see. Is this just a fire up the hall turn? It is. Okay, that's fine. So I'm just gonna take this and go to 13. Supreme Phantom is pretty close to optimal there, because that's a 2-turn clock now. So if they want to fire up the hall and put me on a clock, that's an option. But it looks like that's not what's happening here, and come on. I am not happy about walking one of these into a shark, but I think I have to. Oh, that's not that bad, actually. And now, hopefully the card in their hand isn't exactly one of their Mystical Disputes. Oh, thank God. All right, take 4, go to 4. And I'm basically hoping for you to, like, leave these alone. No? Okay. Understandable. Have a great day. All right. Honestly, not a great draw, but it is what it is. Okay, so I see that we are not meant to win this game is what we're getting out of this. I will just let this attack. Oh, what am I supposed to do with that, right? Okay. Yeah, I guess I'm just gonna use this defensively for a turn and see if I can't maybe draw something relevant. They also have Dovin's Veto mana now. Perfect. Yes, I'm sure. I'm gonna pay to ward 3. And it was a mystical dispute, so that's gonna be game anyway. Alright, well, GG's to our opponent. Let's move on to the last round. Alright, so 5 and 2 is gonna be the end of our tournament. Unfortunately, we can't make top 8, and that is where all the prizes live for this tournament, so unfortunately, we're kind of dead in the water. But as you can see, we have kind of carved out a really sweet little niche for ourselves, and I like to think that we adhere to it pretty well. Now, normally, blue-white control, a deck like that, is something we can totally manage, and the cards happen to not line up. It is what it is. And the same kind of goes for the mono-white aggro deck, where a lot of the times we do just have the tools to run them over, but it is very play draw dependent. And sometimes you just draw a bunch of 2-drops when you really need to be drawing interaction for 1, and you die. Sucks. Happens. It's okay though, because we do that to our opponents as well. But either way, 5 and 2 is totally a respectable finish for a tournament, right? Like, it's not exactly the end of the world that I didn't win this tournament. And I do think that it speaks a lot to the power of spirits, though, that's even a statement that I had to make in the first place. Because it's just been really performing well. Like, it's got reasonable game against Rakdos if you just play smart, and that's the best deck in the format. The second best deck in the format, Mono Green, we absolutely stomp. And we have pretty reasonable game against most of the rest of the top tier. So I'm excited to play this deck more and more, and look forward to seeing some gameplay streamed live again. I do actually have some time on my hands, so I'm hoping to make that happen with all of you. Let me know if you're interested in seeing that in the comment section. But that's going to be our tournament for today. Shoutouts to the folks from the Pizza Box for running these free tournaments. I think they do 2 or 3 of them a month, so check them out on Twitch, YouTube, wherever they live on the internet. And that's going to be it for today's video. As always, if you like what you watched, make sure to click the like button, let me know, sub to the channel if you're new, and I'll see y'all on the next one.